It's episode 66 of Chit Chat, and today we'll be listening to the games that we play during these unprecedented times. Some games on our list may be entirely new, while others are just tried and true.
Welcome back to Chit Chat.
Hey everybody! Welcome to Chit Chat episode 66. Whoa, wait a minute. Is that order 66?
Oh.
Wait, am I right? Was that order 66?
We have a theme going on.
I can't, no, honestly, that we didn't mean to do that. It just kind of happened. That's really cool. All right, so today we're going to be talking about games that you can play during lockdown. And we're not trying to make fun of the worldwide pandemic, but we want to make sure that you guys have stuff that you can do. And you know, it's a very heavy situation right now with everything going on in the world. So we're going to try to bring games to you that can be played for all different types. So we don't know who you're stuck with. You can be stuck with your parents. You can be stuck with your siblings, your spouse, your partner, your friends, whoever.
Stuck with.
So, well, I mean, that's kind of what it feels like after, 3 months now?
Right.
It has been a while.
So, but before all that, right?
Yes, we have a winner, and I have a mask on, so it's really hard to see. We have Shane Matthews. Congratulations. You've won Tiny Epic Tactics, which is up here. All you need to do is email us at manvsmeeple@gmail.com. And this week, it's probably why you're here, we're giving away a copy of Alma Mater. This game, bam! It's really good.
Yeah.
So we've actually had a chance to play this a couple times. We played it as a two-player game and as a
gonna last.
four-player game. I'm going to put it back on. And a four-player game, and I really enjoy it. This is from the same designers that did Grand Austria Hotel, the Renzo del Magnifico, Coimbra, Terramara, all those games. So to enter, all you do is make a comment below, and you're going to be entered to win, and I will make the pre-order for you, and we'll get it out to you. I think they're delivering in August, so you'll get it then.
Nice.
And we'll have a review up next week, so you can check it out there as well.
Fun
All right.
game with cute books.
Jay, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm all right, man.
I was trying to read your mind, but I couldn't.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. No, I'm doing okay. Very, very busy right around now. You know, hyping things up, going into Gen Con and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting. I've been a lot of places and enjoying collaborating with people. So it's been awesome.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, everything seems to be revolving around live streaming right now.
Yep.
Because no one can be together. So it's a really weird situation that we're in because of COVID. All right. Should we start with our list? Now, we kind of lied. We don't have a top 10.
But we'll come up with our
Each of
top
us have a
10 overall by the end of this, right?
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, we're going to have a top 10, but, you know, with David was originally supposed to be here. He had some family stuff or they had to deal with, so we kind of want to condense our list, but now that we only have 4 of us, we probably could have made it a top 10. But anyways, these lists are going to be all over the place. Or that.
Well, and we do have both
top 1.
David and Kevin's lists as well, so we'll have all 6 of us when we go through them today.
All right. So again, before we actually get into the list, I want each of you, before you say your number 5, tell me why you picked your lists, and it may change throughout the list, but tell me your overarching look about it. Kira, do you have an order on how we want to do these?
We'll go 5. What do you mean, like who's going to go? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll start with 5.
Start with 5.
I think we'll go with 5.
And then go down to 1
That's
like
a
normal.
good idea.
We want to start with the number 1.
All right.
Let's start with 3 first this time.
No.
Yeah,
the hat's
I'll roll
going
around.
back on?
So let's just do it this way. So I'm going to have everybody talk about how they made their list and then talk about their number 5. So I'll go first this time. How about that? So stuck is an appropriate word. With my husband, who is just not like all the same kind of games that I like the heavier things. But we've definitely got Jeremy being super distracting, which is super fun. I have no idea. How did I make my list?
I don't know.
I think I made it mostly with games that I knew he'd play with me. So if you've got one person to play with, these are games that play good at 2 for somebody who maybe doesn't want the heavier games. So my number 5 was, I don't even remember. What was my number 5? Oh,
Have
it
the
was
list open.
Clask. It was Clask, which is one of his favorite games. It's a dexterity game that he really, really likes. And you have it's one of my favorite booths to see at Essen every year. If you've ever been to Essen, they have like this giant wooden booth, and they do this cool like slide that you can go down. They have like a giant version of Class, but it's a two-player. It's like, oh, you're bouncing this ball around, trying not to get the magnet stuck to your guy in order to score points, soccer-ish style, I guess, or whatnot. But that's my number 5. So how about Ryan? How did you pick yours today?
Yeah, so I actually went down and I kind of broke them down a little bit into categories, but I picked 5 games that I think will get people through this lockdown in one piece for a variety of different groups, for just you, for your family, if you're with roommates who are gamers, family that are gamers, whatever. I wanted kind of a sweeping list that I can recommend for all these different situations. That being said, my number 5 is Clank Legacy. You can get this game online. You should be able to still get it online. But Clank is a really accessible game. Families can play it. It's kind of got gateway elements. I mean, you can teach Clank to everybody. But if you're watching this, you're probably, a little bit more of a gamer into the hobby. So the Legacy brings that campaign or narrative. And we've talked about Clank Legacy a lot, but you're getting something like 12 games out of this. So if you're stuck at home with family or roommates that are gamers, I mean, this is the perfect time to play a legacy game because you've basically got a trapped audience. So Clank is the one that I recommend.
Audience.
We had a great time playing through Clank Legacy, but really, I mean, what other game are you going to get and play 12 times? Most games will play, 3 or 4 times. So I definitely recommend Clank Legacy.
Gloomhaven.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a little bit more of a commitment. That'll last you past the lockdown, I bet.
Right.
Jay, we'll let you go.
Yep.
We'll let you go last. So I'll go next. All right, I'm gonna start. I picked games all over the place. Actually, I picked something for each different type of thing I want to talk about. And my first one's going to be 2-player games, because these seem to be the ones. I mean, you're always stuck with. Hopefully, you're stuck with at least one person that's going to want to play a game with you. And the one I picked is this. It's Santorini. I brought visual aids. Like, this is the perfect game. I mean, this is like chess for nerds. And I don't say nerds disparagingly because I'm a nerd. I mean, look, I have a Director Krennic doll behind me. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
couldn't
do.
be any more nerd than a nerd. So, but Santorini is awesome because it's like chess. It's really fast to play. You can play a game in 5 to 10 minutes, and there's like 55 gods in the box, plus all these promo gods. So you're never going to run out of different combinations to play against one another. And it's all about trying to outthink your opponent. It's a beautiful game. It's a game that I think everybody who likes board games should own, just because it's pretty to look at, it's fun to play, it's super accessible, it's incredibly easy to teach. Just the perfect game for 2 people.
All right.
I love that game. The app is absolutely insanely good.
Super cool.
Oh my gosh, it is insanely good. Ugh.
All right, Jay.
So my interesting when I started to figure this out, I was like, what if I played physically? And I was like, wow, I've really delved into this digital stuff because I was experimenting with a digital segment, and I really went hard into it, especially at the beginning of the quarantine. So like, I was like, whoa, we're locked down. Let's try all these digital apps. So I started out with Sagrada, and Sagrada's been great. I don't even own the game, the actual physical game. So here I am trying an app that of a game I think I played once, and I was just not impressed with. I think Azul was out at the time, and I rather played Azul at the time. So, wow. I mean, I really got into this game, and if you saw me streaming it every once in a while, I was playing it quite a bit. Like, it was like my little addiction app for a while. But the other one that's really got me hooked in is Tainted Grail. So Tainted Grail has been going through a video game process now. And I remember back when everybody was like back in this game, they were like, what are you doing with our money, man? But it's been through several iterations through the early access process. And as it has grown, it's gotten better. It went from like kind of mimicking the regular game, kind of trying to introduce the lore and the, like what's in the actual game with the card play and matching up. but now it's got a conquest mode, which is like a roguelike, plays totally different, and now they have a campaign mode, which is kind of like combined both of those things together and created this really rich world, like they can play with and really invest in. And I'm just very excited, much like I was with Gloomhaven. Like, this campaign it's just better naturally. And although Gloomhaven is further in its development, it's just like, I think because I see more of like what the final game is going to be like, whereas like Gloomhaven, I don't see the final game yet, and I just know how big it is. But Tainted Grail is looking very good. You can play a 3-hour campaign now, and with the early access, I would really suggest you check it out, just for the fact that you have the conquest mode and the short campaign that you can play.
It's fantastic that I think we lost them there. I think it's fantastic that we have. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think it's fantastic that we have all these apps now that people were so apprehensive about playing games that had app-based content or just even apps that were board games in general.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see all of these games get turned into apps, which is fantastic. I think even like Susie and Mandy have like an app-tastic on Dice Tower, like every week where they'll play games that aren't even board games. They'll play like Slay the Spire and those type of games that are inspired by board games that are now some kind of video game. And it's really cool to see that these two worlds are finally starting to meld together.
Yeah, I'm playing something called Rooflands or something like that. It's basically like Borderlands, but like a card deck building game where you're fighting with cards, kind of like Slay the Spire, but you're also having this battle with conversation. It's a conversation battle with card play.
That's cool.
It's crazy. Like, you're actually having like arguments, but it's attacking champions in front of you. So you'd be kind of familiar if you played Ascension just a little bit. And it's just really slick. It's called Grifflands. So if you're ever looking for something very unique, take a look at Grifflands. It's crazy. It's just a crazy game. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's board game hybrids that I'm really digging.
I love these hybrids.
Yeah.
Hey, Kara, what were Kevin and David? Which one had code names?
David was code names, and Kevin was Welcome too.
Both great games.
Absolutely.
I mean, both of those games are great as 2 players up to more players. Well, of course, if you have Codenames Duet, but really, really strong titles.
Yeah.
And Codenames comes in so many different varieties now. There's the Harry Potter one. There's the Star Wars one. So Marvel
Disney. Yep.
or Disney, that's what I mean. Yeah. So basically, like, whatever your family likes, you can probably find a Codenames that's going to fit with your family.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to number 4. I think we started with Ryan. Let's go back to Ryan. Oh, no, we started with Kira.
With Kira.
Kira, what's your 4?
Yeah, my 4 is going to be Flick of Faith, actually.
Ooh.
So I love Flick of Faith. This is a new favorite. Obviously, there's a little bit of a theme here with dexterity stuff. My husband really likes dexterity, and so that tends to be one of the main drivers of getting him to the table sometimes for me. And so Flick of Faith is just really, it's like Crokinole with some extra gamery stuff on top of it, right? So if you like Crokinole or you like Crokinole-like games and you don't mind the flicking, it's super fun. And then you've got these lovely little god powers. You've got wonderful art all over it. It's got that very Santorini art vibe going on as well.
Yeah, it does.
Just a really, really, really cool game with all those fun variable powers and these cards that come out each round that change things up. So that's a great, great little game. How about you, Ryan?
My number 4 was the graphic novel adventures that came out from Van Ryder. And these are great for solo play. I mean, you can easily lose an entire afternoon sitting down playing one of these. And for those who don't know, they have, I think, maybe 2 sets of these now, and each one is basically a graphic novel or comic book, except it's also a choose-your-own-adventure game. So as you're flipping these pages, it's going to tell you to, make your choices, but you also actually have a character sheet as well. So there is some role-playing based in there as well, because you're building a character, and based on how your character performs in certain areas, you'll get to unlock new parts of the book, and there's puzzles to solve. I mean, these really appeal to me as someone that loved those puzzle books as a kid, as someone that loved choose-your-own-adventure novels. This is the best of everything. And if you're sitting at home alone today, like with nothing to do, and you can burn through this whole set probably by the time the lockdown is over. think, Jeremy, you probably know better than I do, but there's like maybe 8 or so of them out, maybe 10.
Yeah,
Probably
no,
more.
There's
Maybe
way
even more than that.
Like,
Yeah.
I
There's
think
a lot
they
of
did
them.
like 7 on the first one, or like 5. Then they did like 7, and then they did the Robinson Crusoe crew, and then they did a season 3, which is probably like 5 or so more. I wanted to know which one did you play? Did you play the new Sherlock Holmes one, or what did you play?
I haven't. I've played this. Just finished playing the superhero one.
Okay, so yeah.
Which-
Oh man, that's so fun.
It was really
Oh,
good.
that was so fun.
And of course, like I love superheroes, so
Yeah, there's one that I think is really cool. There's a Western one where it's like
That is awesome. Where you're
it's
building
a
a town.
sequel. It is so
Yes.
cool, man.
That's
Oh
great.
man,
Yeah.
sleeper of that one. That sleeper.
And
no,
a
I
pro
want to play
tip,
that
I could have
one.
easily
Pro
made
tip,
the
go
whole
to their-
list dexterity games, but I didn't make the whole list dexterity games. But I also have Meeple Circus. Like that's a good throw out mention for
Meeple
a fun
Circus
dexterity game.
It's way up.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Before I go to my number 4, pro tip on those Van Riders: if you go to their website, you can download like the maps and the character sheets. So you don't have to write in your book,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
which is
nice.
a big key. So you can give them to someone else to play when you're done with them. All right, so my number 4 is for all my Euro spirit animals out there. I love Euro games, and although they're probably not going to hit a lot of tables during a lockdown because not everyone is a heavy Euro gamer, but if you are a Euro fan, I think that this game, Maracaibo, is probably a good one to pick because it does all the things that you enjoy in Euro games. Like all Euro fans love collecting resources, and moving around maps, and doing a variety of different things and using their brain in different types of ways, building tableaus, unlocking things on their player boards. But Maracaibo goes even another step by providing a lengthy campaign that's not really legacy, but the more you play it, the more tiles and interactions you have that change the board. So every time you play is going to be a little bit different. You're going to interject some of these new cards into the game that you wouldn't see unless you go down this campaign route. So it just changes the game enough so it doesn't get repetitive as you play it. So Maracaibo is my number 4, and it's for the Euro fans out there.
I don't think I'll ever get tired of playing that game. And in fact, we're gonna have a review of that coming up next week, so that's pretty exciting too.
Good, exciting stuff. All right,
I got to give you my score.
Jeremy Howard.
Jay Howe, 4.
Oh Lord. What was that one?
Do you want me to pull up your
4.
list?
No. There's just one quick swing here. Yes, number 4 is Tawantin Suyu. All right.
Oh,
Was that close?
that's not nice.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
Why?
Because no one can play it.
No,
I
You're telling
I know.
It's not.
I know.
Well, quarantine's going to be
You can
going
play it
on
on-
for a while, Jeremy. So
So Rainer needs to release this early, is what you're
they can
saying.
pre-order
Yes,
it.
he needs to release.
So that
it.
There you
they
go.
can pre-order it, so then
you
when
know-
the quarantine continues or extends or whatever, they have it then, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing around. Just depending on how things go next month, I'll be playing these live, so you can see more coverage of it, of that one and Tekinyu, which I have not played. But Tawantin Suyu, I played with the crew, and we played together, and I was absolutely impressed by this game. I just like the fact that I like to be overwhelmed with decisions, and I'll work my way out of it. I may not be good at it the first game that I played, but that challenges me to do more. And I just thought the combinations of turns were there. I feel like it is a great solo game. Like I can sniff those things out right away because I can tell how it works when I'm playing it. And sometimes that's probably why I don't win, because I'm trying to figure out like, oh, how would they do that, or what mechanisms come together to make a solo mode. But I just had a lot of fun with the way the triggers, how you trigger things off, and I can see those big powerful turns, and it was fun to watch other people trigger off these combos, and just that really attracts me when I know there's potential for these big turns, and there's so many decisions at once. And I just, even though we played and it was super long, I didn't feel like I wasted my time. I feel like I had a lot of
It
fun.
was a good experience. It was a little long, but it was also a learning game. And we played on TTS, Tabletop Simulator.
Right.
That always adds
Yeah.
time to your play every
Yeah.
time.
And you kind of get lost in Rainer's voice. He takes a long time to teach. He takes a long time to teach, but
Well,
you
there's
just
a lot
kinda,
to that game.
Yeah, he kind of his delivery makes it all worth it.
So we had David picking Stone Age on BGA, so that's Board Game Arena, and we had Dinosaur Island by Kevin. Both really, really good picks. Stone Age is just a classic game that I think everyone should already own anyway. All right, Also, welcome to all the people that are making comments. I see Music Man's asking about Death Trap Dungeon. I've never heard of that game before. Have you? Any of you guys played that one?
He's talking about the graphic novel adventures.
Yeah.
He's mentioned
Okay.
Fighting Fantasy books and
Yep.
the Lone Wolf series, neither of which I've read.
Okay.
So I'm definitely going to look up Death Trap Dungeon, because if it's like that at all, I'm into it.
I see. And then we got a mention from Dean about Fantastic Factories, which is also really
Oh,
good.
I love that game. I love that game. Very pleasing game to play. Very pleasing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 3. Kira.
All right, my number 3 is going to be my last dexterity game for today, and that is Crokinole. This is absolutely one of our favorite games.
Yeah.
I actually saw there's a Kickstarter, and because I think Mayday does one every year, and this is my board as a Mayday board. It got us into. I discovered this at a BGG con for the first time, and I fell in love with it. And I knew my husband would be all about it. This was our first, dexterity game that I brought home actually from, a convention or whatever, or from a Kickstarter and all that. And then it kind of became a thing where we started looking for all the dexterity games. So Crokinole is where we started that. We hang it on our wall when we're not playing it, and we bring it down. It's a quick game. It's really easy to set up and put away. So Crokinole is a really easy one, and you can get in on it for a pretty low price. I know I'd love to get one of the really fancy boards that are several $100s, but this one was like $100 through the Mayday Kickstarter. So
That's live right now.
yes, they've got one going right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just put my wife on notice for that one. I was like, we got to do that, right? We got to do that one. Yeah. Team effort on that. We're going to get that Crokinole.
Right.
Team effort. You like that game, right?
So good. So good.
Yeah.
All right, number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is Arkham Horror, the card game, which has been out for a couple years, and at this point there is a ton of content. I know Kira's played through probably a lot of it.
I'm almost caught up with the latest thing.
I just started. We were looking for a game that we could play with friends virtually, and now we're probably going to convert to playing it in person. We wanted something that we could play, the same story that would last throughout, and we played, I think 6 or 7, maybe even 8 missions in that first one, and this game is really cool. The way that you start with a deck, that's your character, and you go through this like Cthulhu Lovecraftian storyline, and you're slowly gaining XP based on your decisions, and you're leveling up your deck in between games. So by the end of the campaign, you have a pretty strong deck that's very different from where you started. But what I think is really cool is the amount of variability in the game and the interesting paths that the narrative takes you down. There was a lot of really hard decisions we had to make. There was a lot of multiple places we could go that I still don't really know what might have happened if we had gone down the other way. So for people that like cooperative games, that like story narrative games, this one is great. All you really need is the base set and a scenario pack, but there are a ton of cool scenarios to choose from. So you can kind of pick one that fits what you're looking for in a game. Like any kind of Cthulhu-esque thing, they have a scenario for. So, Jeremy Howard is the king.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely Arkham Horror. And I'm sorry that I don't have a hat. Someone asked me earlier, where are your hats? Somewhere I have the mask from Dishonored that the assassin wears, but I don't know where that is. It's in storage somewhere. I don't have time to dig it out.
Oh no.
So sorry about my lack of hat.
Yeah, I mean, just on the whole Arkham thing, it's got there's a wonderfully done TTS mod out there for it. Just absolutely fantastic that lets you build your deck, and then you can go to the Arkham deck database and you can enter in that code and pull any deck from that. It's just really, really well done. We're like 2 away from the end of the most recent campaign where you're actually playing what is essentially 2 stories side by side. So you have 2 decks the whole time. You're playing 2 different characters and 2 different sets of investigators. So you're flipping back and forth week to week. Super cool. So anyway, Jeremy, what's your number 3?
Oh,
I was just gonna say, Arkham Horror seems like the game I should love, and it is like one of my least favorite games ever. I don't know why.
It's super brutal.
Clinic is my number 3.
Wait, did we skip Jeremy?
That's okay. He's busy
No,
doing
Jeremy?
something else.
there's no Jeremy here.
All right, Jeremy
Oh my
Howard, why don't
gosh.
you tell us more about Clinic?
So my number 3 is Clinic, and in Clinic, it's a pretty heavy Euro. It's by Alma Mater, and in this game you are running a hospital and you are building different clinics on boards. It's kind of got a 3D puzzle element to it. Because you're going to kind of be placing levels on top of levels, so it's kind of hard to get used to in the beginning. A lot of people get confused with the rules, but you're going to be, yes, there you go, Jeremy. Thank you for miming that. But you're going to be building like different areas, and what you're doing is hiring different doctors and specialists and nurses to support them, and then you save them, or you let them die. You let them get worse and die, or you let them get worse. You let them get worse so you can save them and get more money and be more popular in the game. Now, the cool part about this, it's the punishing part. It's the Martin Wallace thing where you can borrow money, you can do all kinds of stuff, but at the end, you're going to subtract like $30 from your score. So you're going to have a lot of negative coming off your score. You'll have 70, and then you got to subtract 30. So it's got that little bit of punishment to it, but it's got a ton of modules that people don't touch on. And I mean, like, it's got zombies, it's got all kinds of stuff. And then they have the COVID donations that they just collected on as well. So I can get behind that. I understand why it's a classic or why it came back. And I heard that the first edition was literally like made by him, like physically made by him. That's why there weren't many copies. Apparently.
That's pretty cool.
I did not know that. Somebody explained that to me. They're like, yeah, I think he actually built those copies because they were, not the same. So that was pretty interesting to hear that. But I'm really, really excited about the game. Really excited.
Cool.
So,
all right, Jeremy Salinas.
All right, so my first one was a 2-player game. My second one was a Euro game. This one is a solo game, and this is Legacy Dragonhold. I talk about this game probably too much, and people are probably sick of it. But if I get one more person to buy this game and get like maybe a second edition that comes out, I would be so happy. It's a choose your own adventure game. It can be played cooperatively, but it's probably best played solo just because of it's so narrative driven, and it kind of pulls you in, and it does choose your own adventure in really, really unique ways. I just absolutely love this game. I played through it twice. I probably will never give it away. I'll probably come back to it in a couple of years once I've forgotten some of them. And I still haven't seen all the content in there because there's multiple different books and multiple different paths that you can go down. So you can go through the game multiple times and not see everything that you could possibly see. Plus, the character that you roll up, how you use your stats is going to change from game to game. So it's just really, really good. So if you're at home by yourself, Legacy of Dragonhold, do it.
Nice.
All right, so what are the ones for the other peeps?
We've got D&D remotely, which, as you know, David's been playing. We've talked about it a few times, and eventually some folks might make guest appearances, including Jeremy Salinas. And then we've got Chronicles of Crime from Kevin.
Nice.
Chronicles of Crime is really good.
Yeah.
Great game.
Really good. When's Millennium Ship? Is that this year?
I hope so.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
I hope so. I mean, who knows
I'm ready
now?
for it.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm ready for a Whopper. I don't know why.
like a food Whopper?
Yeah, I could use a nice BK extra value menu.
All right.
All right, what's number 2?
2. Kira.
Yeah, let's go to 2. 2 for me was Shobu, actually. Shobu. This is another game that I discovered and from Smirk and Dagger, or is it Smirk and Dagger, Smirk and Laughter, right? So I love this game. It is super cool. It originally was sumo wrestling themed, hence the rope, which we've all kind of made jokes about it being like, why is there a rope? But that rope was there for thematicness at one point in time, and they liked it, so they kept it with it. But you're moving.
Let's just be honest, it looks cool.
It looks cool, and it kind of gives you like that divider or whatever of what's going on. And it's just it's an abstract push-pull. You're matching your movements, but you have to do it on certain boards in order to move the other person's rocks off the board and win. So that's Shobu.
Shobu!
I had a lot of really good experiences, and that's an easy one to teach
awesome.
too. It's very easy to teach.
Very
You're only
easy.
really doing one thing on your turn, but it's the strategy of that is.
It's how you move that rope that's really, really important.
Ryan.
All right. So for my number 2, I went with kind of a more of a Euro game because I do love Euro games. And I wanted one that I think was going to give you a lot of bang for your buck, and so I picked Terraforming Mars.
Well,
I mean, it's a really fun game. I mean, this game has been out for years. It's amassed a lot of content, and to be honest, it takes a good amount of plays to really experience everything this game has to offer. So if you're, stuck at home, playing with people that like this kind of game, like you can definitely play through it all the different expansions, all the different cool content that comes with it. Plus, it has a solo mode, which I actually really like the solo mode for Terraforming Mars. Jeremy, I know you don't like Terraforming Mars.
Wait,
You can just
wait,
be over
what?
there. No,
No.
Howard, not
Oh.
you, Salinas.
You know what? Ryan has two of his favorite games. Like I just don't like them at all. Like
Wait, why don't you like Terraforming?
I don't like Terraforming Mars.
I want
just think it's
to
a
hear
bore.
why.
Every time I play it, it's just a bore. I really like. I don't. Usually games like that have an engine built to them, like make me very excited. But like that one, I just have better.
I'm
taste.
so.
I don't even know what you're saying right now.
I'm so. I
Do you-
just. I can't.
I don't like
handle what's
underwater
happening.
cities. I don't
Wait,
like
do you
underwater
like-
cities. I don't like. No,
La,
I
la,
don't
Wait,
like.
you don't like underwater cities?
I don't like underwater cities. I don't know.
I'm unplugging my headset right now.
Wait a minute.
Trust me, when I was like this, when I was on another network, boy, did I make everybody go nuts. I'm like, I don't like these types of games. I don't love everything, guys. I
No,
don't.
I mean that's fair, but
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by you liking engine building. Don't like either one of those games, which are like the creme de la creme of engine building.
Yeah,
Especially 'cause Terraforming Mars has a
and
great
Project
solo
Energy Empire is better. I mean, like there's certain games that are just better, and it's crazy because those are card games too. Like, just no, they bore me to tears.
Oh my gosh. Ryan, someone is asking in the comments, and I'm sorry I lost track of the comment, but they wanted to know if you liked the latest expansion, which I think they meant was
that would
Turmoil.
be. I think they're talking about Turmoil, which I love Turmoil because it adds this like almost like politics board to the center, and it's very area control because you have to like put your meeples into these different like political groups, and based on which one becomes like the powerful faction, you get a different global ability. So it completely adds this new area control element. Like you want the right faction to come into play when you're poised to like take a benefit and no one else at the table is. So it's this whole layer of strategy of trying to watch what other people are doing and figuring out which of these factions is about to take power. Again, it's completely unnecessary expansion. Like you can play without it, but I really enjoy what it brings. It just makes the game a little more competitive for me and a little more take that, which I don't always, it's not like direct take that, but it is definitely like blocking with the area control for sure.
I'm personally just
All
really
right.
like the app. I think the app is great. And for those that are in the comments saying that they're curious about Terraforming Mars, or they think it's boring, or they just want to try it out for the first time, the app will teach you. That's how I learned Terraforming
Yeah.
Mars. Because
Yeah.
Ryan was supposed to teach me for the last couple of years and never did, so I had to use the app.
It's a lot. It's because it's like it's with Teach, it can be a little bit long.
Sure. Now I know how to
So-
play, and then I hope we'll play in person before the big box comes out, because
Yeah.
I'm excited
Or when
for
the big box comes
that
out with all
too,
that
but, like,
terrain.
in between, because I do like that game quite a
Yeah.
bit. All right, who's next?
All right, I'm gonna
That
do.
one right there,
I'll
though,
go-
I would say the app does a really good job of giving the game a better experience to me. But it's just one of those games that's on a lower tier. I'd always be willing to play with people. It's just that I know I almost feel like the ship has sailed. I played it a lot, so yeah.
All right,
All right.
Salinas.
I'll do my number 2. All right, so my next one is for families, and this is Unlock, the whole Unlock series, all of them, every single one of them. These are like small box escape rooms that are really, really accessible. They have a lot of hidden information on them, so if you have young kids who like to look at cards and figure things out, it may not be, if you have anyone under maybe the age of 7 or 8 or 7 or 8, they may be, some of the puzzles may be a little too challenging, but it doesn't mean they can't participate and you can't help them link things together. So it's almost like an educational tool, the way that they present all this different material. Most of them, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, most of them are pretty age appropriate too. There's nothing in there that's super glaring that I can think of.
None that
most of
I've
them are-
played.
Yeah. So they can be played with for all ages. I really like the Unlock series. I like the Exit series too, but I think Unlock is that perfect way they can be played for anybody. Like I said, they're incredibly inexpensive, so
Yeah.
you can get 3 of them for $20-$30 and then pass them on to your friends when you're done, because they're
Yeah.
once you know them and they're non-destructible, so you can give them to someone else. And let them play. So
Very cool.
I dig them.
Is Wizard of Oz one of those?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was so good.
Okay, yeah, okay.
All right, Jeremy Howard.
Number 2, I think oh yeah. So I actually had to fight to keep some of these prototypes off of my list because I played some awesome. I can't wait for them to come to you. Prototypes.
This
That
is
doesn't
another
help
one you
everybody
are
right
all
now.
going to have to wait a while for, it sounds like.
Right, Jeremy's like, if there's a quarantine next year, you can play these games.
Let's just be honest. There will be.
We may be at it for a while, trust me. So this one right here is a follow-up sequel to a series of games called Hostage Negotiator. This is Final Girl, which
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, like, this is, like, it's hard to say that this game is better than Hostage Negotiator. Now, don't get me wrong, Hostage Negotiator is super random. This game does have some randomness to it, but you do have way more interesting choices to do around here because you are moving around, adding a board where you actually have to move around and make different decisions on the board and also pay attention to what the board is doing to you, like it's forcing you to do. And it feels thematic, like you're on the chase. You're trying to get people like out of this house because this aberration's coming. And the plot is this aberration has is looking for a little girl. So you got to get the little girl out of the house and run out of there, in time. And it should be frantic. So the dice rolls make sense. Like you're rolling these dice and like things may not work out, like easy stuff, easy choices. And you're like, oh my God, what if we don't get these out? Well, you know what? Throw those teens in this room and let them take them. So there's a lot of different things, that happen in that game, but it's really action-packed. It's intense. And I really like the fact that it runs off that theme of, like, there's always this final girl in a movie, in a slasher movie, and you get a chance to either fight back or run, like, in the 2 scenarios they have. But they have more classic villains, which is great. I feel like, man, for that pledge, I mean, out of that little prototype box, I played the heck out of that one. So, really excited about that one and the career one that they have coming out as well. They just shipped to backers. So, yeah.
I backed it. I backed it because of you.
I'm really surprised. But I'm not because it is that compelling. It's just super fun, man.
It looks good.
Yeah. All right. What were the other people's choices?
So David chose the Tichu app. And then Kevin had Tang Garden, which I can obviously attest to. I do quite like the game, honestly, more in person on the table than in Tabletopia, simply because, I don't know, there's something about that game that's enjoyable. And while the Tabletopia experience is gorgeous, Jeremy Howard already knows this because we played it together. I would much rather play it on the table. And mainly because I really enjoy the expansion content for it. I think it really adds a lot to the game for replayability purposes. So anyway, that's everybody's choose.
We have 2 questions I want to answer briefly. Daniel said, "Does Final Girl have licensing for slashers like Freddy or Jason?" I don't think so because they're probably fairly expensive.
Yeah, fairly expensive. But they have
imitations.
Imitations. Like I was so excited they got Candyman in there. So like. They're really leaning into it. They're leaning into the good ones. And I know they like horror stuff. So they like horror and Westerns. So I know that those themes will always be taken care of. So,
yeah. And then, we had. I'll go. Well, then go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, like, that we're totally off track. Somebody else was talking about, you just talked about unlocks. And you didn't mention that Star Wars Unlock is about to come out.
Yeah. Oh. That's huge.
And you were wearing the Star Wars helmet, and you got Krennic right there behind you. But yeah, that's a huge unlock. That's a big swing for them.
And this.
And that.
I agree with you in the chat, man. I hope the Spider-Man remake is awesome. I really do. I hope it's great. Such a slept-on movie.
Marissa also said she's got it on her shelf being unlocked, and she can't wait to get it to the table. Might have to play it solo. I can tell you from firsthand experience that you can absolutely play all the unlocks solo. But like anything, some brains, including my own, don't always figure out some puzzles, but they figure out other puzzles really good. So it's really good to have multiple people at the table where you just get stuck on stuff, and then other people are like, oh, I see it right there, and you're like,
I want to give you guys some solid advice. I think Escape Tales is better than the Unlock series, but I want to let you know, do not play it alone. Like, you won't figure it out on your own. The puzzles in there are just so difficult, and like
I like
they're
We just played
massive.
through The
Yeah,
Awakening a couple weekends ago for my friend's
and
birthday,
it's
so
so
it
good.
was a lot of fun.
Yep, they are good. All right, so we are at number uno.
We are at
Kira.
number uno. Let me go ahead and knock down this number 2 so it's not on there anymore. So my number 1, this was one that I asked to borrow. We played it on the live stream. I asked to borrow it from Jeremy so that I could convince my husband to play it. It took me several weeks to get him to play it, but I thought this game was so appropriate for the time, and I love worker placement, and it was kind of a nice way to get him to play something a little bit more up my alley, and that is Fallout Shelter, the board game.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Super cute, very easy to learn, definitely accessible to a variety of play groups, I think. It's going to hit the
for sure.
gamer
This is
niche.
not
It's going to
released.
hit the gateway niche, I think, and just everybody will be happy with the game if you like worker placement. What were you going to say, Jeremy?
It's not released, ma'am. Excuse me. Okay, you cheated too.
My
not out.
one that's getting ready to come out.
Wait,
That's true.
Fallout Shelter's not out?
It was on
No.
pre-order
Isn't it
earlier
releasing
this
soon?
year,
It's
but
August,
it's going to
right?
be here in a couple
Really?
of months while we're all
I
still
think
it's
waiting for
I
Gen
thought it was
Con
August.
and things to not
Yeah.
happen.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think August. So it's not that far out of the way.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought it's been out for a while. Crazy times.
All right, Ryan,
well,
you're
my
up.
number 1, I picked something that is actually out that you can play right now. And this is the game that I have spent the most time playing under lockdown, and that is Marvel Champions. I mean, this game has so much gameplay packed into the core box by itself, and then you have all these added on heroes and villains like Wrecking Crew and Black Widow just came out. I mean, you can play, like, this game plays great solo. It plays great at 2, 3, 4 players. Any kind of gaming group you have can play Marvel Champions, and everybody loves superheroes right now. MCU stuff is huge, so I think the theme is bringing people in that maybe wouldn't try the game otherwise, but you can get as much into this game as you want. You can just play with the starter decks and have a little bit of fun, or you can really start switching out your different characters, building tons of unique decks, really like diving into some of the harder gameplay modes. I don't know that I'm going to get tired of playing this game. I mean, I've played probably 20 games so far just in lockdown, not even looking at my total gameplay this year. And it's not something I've lost interest in because there's so much variability in the characters. And even if you're playing solo, I know Jeremy Howard likes to do this. You can play two-handed. You can play 2 different heroes at once to kind of, simulate 3-handed even you can do. I mean, however you want to play the game. And they've come out with a lot of cool fan-made content. There's a lot of really cool published content coming out, a big box coming out in sometime in the next month or so. So if this is the time, man, I mean, to jump in, like, this is going to keep you occupied for a while. So yeah, Marvel Champions number 1
And just
for sure.
to back myself up just a little bit, somebody in the comments, Glenn, thank you so much for giving us the date for Fallout Shelter. It is July 23rd, which is not that far away.
Yeah.
So, and not a Kickstarter that's going to take a long time.
All right, so I've given a number of games. I gave a game that was a family game, a 2-player game, a Euro game, a solo game, and this is a me game, meaning this is for me.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one.
Yep.
I'm not?
Nope.
Trey, how? Is this you?
Yeah.
Well, let's both talk about it then.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know how much you completed in Gloomhaven, but I only got through the first 13 before our group dissipated, and obviously we had to move on to the next thing just because of the nature of what we do, but I never finished Gloomhaven, and I love that system. Like, I really like Dungeon Explorers, but I don't like dice chucking. I don't like randomness in my games. Some randomness, but not as much as like rolling the dice and just doing whatever it says. The addition of those cards and using those cards and managing a hand of cards is really appealing to me. And the fact that the biggest draw for me is the simplicity of when you open this box and the map. Like, I really appreciate that it's now built into a binder and you no longer have all these puzzle pieces. So setup, it's a breeze. Like, you can just get to playing right away. So I'm super excited to get into this. Jay, how you take it away? Because I know you've actually played some of it.
I'm on game 7. So I all I can tell you is this game is almost perfect. Yeah, it is like great. It's just great.
Right?
Like it says welcome to Gloomhaven. Like that's the best part. It says welcome to Gloomhaven. And you open the box, it tells you exactly what to do. It walks you through your first 5 games. The first 5 games is a strong instruction manual. It's not just it's basically learning how to play Zelda, but not as irritating. Hey, look at here. No, it's more so a really good walkthrough, and I love the fact that they do give us the cards in the beginning that teach you the game. So one of the big things with Gloomhaven is also the first game you may not know how to read the cards and things like that. So they give you cards that actually have the explanation of what the cards are on them, and that's a really comfortable way to introduce people to the mechanisms of the game. Other than that, it is standard Gloomhaven, but just the fact that the game is organized, it's made more simplistic for your setup, your setup, because there's not as many monsters to sift through the deck of monsters and all these decks of cards. It still gives you the same Gloomhaven experience. It's just a more the barrier of entry is so low now, and it still respects the people who love Gloomhaven, which is me. It's my second favorite game of all time, and it just, like I said, as a product, it's perfect. I mean, as a product, it is perfect, especially when you have something like Frosthaven coming, Gloomhaven here, and like in between. I'm like, this might be a perfect product. Like it's a product. Like it is. Like it really is. It's like, this is not Gloomhaven. This is not Frosthaven, but this is Gloomhaven. It's right here in the middle, And that setup, the low imprint. I mean, even if you lay all 4 characters out, it will not look like a 4-player game of Gloomhaven. That would take up a huge amount of the table. This will not do that. This will not do that. And I think it still respects your time. Lot shorter scenarios, but not like cute short scenarios. Mm-hmm. They actually just teach you the game and then they get you going.
That's awesome.
The characters are great. It's a great game. It's a great product. It is a great game.
People in the comments are talking about so this is a little different from a lot of board game releases. This is kind of a time to Target exclusive, and I know a lot of people are saying it's hard to find right now. I've hearing that there's already more on the way to Targets. So people are buying this game for absurd prices online right now.
More than you should. People just wait.
There are 15,000 copies going to Target. Just wait.
Just give yourself a couple weeks. It'll be there.
Yeah. They had to put in another order. Like they're not used to ordering that video board games. Like they're putting in another order. It's
right.
coming.
Right. So if you can't find it, which some Targets I've seen have had it on their shelves and some haven't. But again, eventually it will be coming out through more traditional means. But they have a kind of I don't know how long the window is, but it's only going to be found in Target for
I'm sure like
a certain
6
amount of time.
months to a year, probably.
It might be something like that. But if you can't find it, just wait a couple weeks. It will be back in stock at huge numbers.
Absolutely.
But I think they basically sold out some stores sold out within the first hour.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I saw pictures of people lined up outside Target like it was a video game release. I mean, that's crazy to me.
So Jeremy Salinas probably knows this too, because I actually did go around trying to find like Villainous when it was hitting Target shelves. And the fact is they only get like 2 or 3 per store. Yeah. And so it sells out fast at the individual store. So I did like a hop from Target to Target one day. But, we live in a pretty big board game community here in Indiana, so I was not the only one, and I started a little late in the day to do it. But I think it's just those initial releases. You also have to wait for like Target to restock as well, because they're trying to figure out which stores are going to have the most sales. So, just a little bit of patience will save your pocketbook is all I'm saying there. Because there are some people that'll go and they'll throw that stuff right up on Amazon or eBay or something for like ridiculous 5-6 times prices. As much. Don't let them sucker you. Just wait a couple of weeks. It'll be okay. All right.
I just want to say for those people. Oh, sorry. Sure. I was just gonna say, just for those people who are not maybe like Gloomhaven until they played it and it was like slog, you got pummeled. I think this one right here will cure all that and it'll make you feel more comfortable. And if somebody's teaching you Gloomhaven, they can teach you the first scenario, and then they can go right back to Gloomhaven, and you be prepped for the whole game night. Or you could just play the campaign in that, and then go to Gloomhaven.
I've never played
Like,
Gloomhaven, so I'm actually very curious. The way you guys are making, it's always been just too much for me. Like I know it's good, but it's too much for me. So if this little game is going to be the nice in between, then sure, somebody
Oh
play
my
it with
God.
me. I'll play
I
it.
wish I lived in Indy. Oh my God, I wish we lived. Oh, it's so good. It's great.
I can't.
Oh my
I can't wait to play. It's just there's no way in heck that I'm getting my normal gaming group to get it to the table, and all you guys had already played it by the time I came around. So it's kind of like it just isn't going to happen for me. So
Yeah.
I know there's an
God.
app. I've been thinking about checking that out, but this Jaws thing looks great. So somebody play it
Yeah.
with me, please. All right. So we've got David who can't make up his mind between Tekenu and the other one.
Tawantinsuyu.
I've always it's just too much for me.
Tawantinsuyu.
Tawantinsuyu. Okay. And then Kevin's number one was Legacy of Dragonholt.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Good. All right, so that is our top 10. A couple things. Please, if you be so kind, give us a thumbs up for the video. Stick around because right now we're going to talk about I can't talk right now. Talk about the games we've been playing because we have some time still.
Well, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And
yeah,
if you're on our channel and you want to be notified when these types of things go live, because we do a bunch of different stuff, you can actually hit the bell on our channel to get notified every time we go live or we put out new content, so you can choose how much notification you get. But we know you love us. You want to hear all of it, so hit those notifications, y'all. All right, so we're going to talk about things we've been playing. Jeremy, you want to kick it off? I know I'd have a feeling you're going to talk about Alma Mater.
Well, that's the one everybody in the comments is waiting to hear about.
Yeah.
People have been here from the beginning, waiting just to hear one word about Alma Mater.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play it tomorrow night for the third time. I played it as a 4-player game, and I played it as a 2-player game. A couple things. Number one, there is a variant for 2 players, so if you don't like variants, don't run away right at the start because the variant's actually really good. You play with the flip side of the board, which condenses the game down. You have fewer worker placement spots that you're going to be going to. The core mechanic here is that you're going to place a worker, do whatever actions you can do, and Energy Empire style, players can follow you, but they have to have one more worker than you have in order to take those same actions. A lot of unique things are going on in this game. So it's very much unlike Coimbra, very much unlike Lorenzo and Grand Austria Hotel. It's its own unique game, and I think they've said this might be in the same universe as Coimbra, and there might be a trilogy of these games. I mean, that's kind of what the rumor that I've heard. But it's Ryan, you may disagree with me, but Ryan thinks the game is an easier weight than Grand Austria and Lorenzo. I think it's on the same weight of all of those. Like, I don't think any of those games are really difficult to learn. They all have their complexities in the way that you play and the way you strategize. I will say this, because I will be reviewing this one next week, is that this game is a slower burn. You're not immediately getting benefits from all the things you do, but you have to strategize on a lot of things that you want to do. This game has a lot of indirect player interaction in it. You're never hurting people, but you're blocking people. You're definitely acquiring professors on one side of the board in order to gain their abilities, but by you doing so, you're blocking other players out from getting them by forcing them to use the same type of books that you expended in order to get them. I know I'm kind of going around the bush here because you don't even know how the game plays, but there's a lot of things that you can do in your game to mess with other people, like really mess with other people. And that's the thing I really like about it. Plus, unlike Coimbra, which I like Coimbra as a game. I think it's a really unique game. I will keep the game, but I feel like there's no variability. Like, I played Coimbra enough that I've seen everything I could possibly see in that game. With Alma Mater, they've actually gone to the effort to really address that by giving you different professors, different busts, different chancellors, different research track cards, all these things. Each time you play it, it's going to be different than the last time you played. And that's huge for me because each experience then means you're going to have to recalibrate the way that you think about getting points. It's not going to be the same every time. Whereas in Coimbra, I feel like every time I play Coimbra, I can do absolute everything that I want to do. And by the end of the game, I've just maximized all the things that I want to do. This game, there is no way. There is no way you're going to walk out of this game and say, I did everything I wanted to do. In fact, you're probably going to do like 1 out of the 4 things that you wanted to do. And I really like that about it. So more to come. Ryan, you want to step in there and talk about the weight
I mean,
stuff?
when I talk about the weight, and what I'm really talking about is the complexity of Alma Mater is very easy to play as far as all you're doing is you're putting a worker in a worker placement space and taking the action. So it's the decisions you have to make on your turn are worker placement based. You can do that poorly with very little forethought and planning. Now, to play Alma Mater well or to get a very good score, then it becomes more of a brain burner. The reason I say I think Lorenzo's heavier is because there's a lot going on that you have to take into consideration with Lorenzo as far as the dice are being rolled every turn, changing the values of your families. People can block you out of towers, making you have to pay a lot more money. And I just find that to be a lot more complex. There's still complexity in Alma Mater. I don't want to be misinterpreted because the game definitely has a different kind of complexity, and maybe that's just me. But I had an easier time looking at Alma Mater and saying, okay, here's how we do these things. Whereas Lorenzo, it's like, man, if I want to get from point A to point B, how do I get there? Like, I really have to plan out my turns more so. And that might just be the way that I look at these games. I mean, I agree with you about Coimbra. I think Coimbra is very easy to play, like very easy to form a strategy and stick with it through the whole game. Alma Mater, it's harder because if the way you said with people blocking from the professors and things like that, it actually hurts you a little bit to plan out, okay, I'm going to collect these books and get this professor. Well, if somebody gets that professor before you, they use their books. Now you have to use their books. Your whole plan has changed. So they're very different in the way they make you think. So I don't know. My first thought was that I like Lorenzo better, but I've only played Alma Mater one time, and I've played Lorenzo, maybe a dozen, and Lorenzo has an expansion. So it's kind of hard to compare apples to apples with those two, but we'll see how it breaks down.
Yeah, one of the really cool things I like about the game is that it has what I would consider almost a closed economy. Like, the economy of the game is driven by the characters themselves because you each represent a type of book. And you using your bookshelves in a way that can really dictate how the flow of the game goes. So if you're not selling books, like if you buy professors with your books, it forces other players to have to use your books. But if you're not filling your shelves, you're forcing them to use other action to get books, or they could get them from you. And when they buy them from you, they're paying you money for them. So there's this balance that you're constantly thinking about through the entire game, which I love. Like, you're forcing players to do things that they don't want to do by doing things on your board and doing things on the main board. And that's really, really interesting to me. So I really like the game. I mean, I know they had a different opinion, but I also creamed them when I played. So typically, if you have a bad first
it was pretty close.
Don't include me in that day. Don't include me in that day.
Jeremy and I think almost...
It was bad.
Jeremy and I almost doubled, I think, David and Kira's scores.
It was bad. People are asking time, like how long it took. So our first 4-player game took what?
2 hours?
2 hours
to teach? And
then
about 2 hours.
Kira and I took 45 minutes to play our 2-player game. So it was really fast.
Yep. So Jeremy Howard, what have you been playing?
Prototypes. I've been playing a combination of a couple things, like, of course, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. But I've been playing some two great games that are, one's on Kickstarter right now, and that's Role Player Adventures, which I'm just going to tell you guys, like, I'm not even that big of a fan of Role Player at all. So I also played that back when I was getting into gaming, so I don't really know how I feel about it now because it's involved so much. But you can tell that this is what he was getting to. And what he's getting to right there, I mean, based on the 2 chapters I've played thus far, has just been absolutely amazing. It's so fun. It when you get to the second chapter, I think the first chapter, a lot of people are doing content on that. It really doesn't show you what it is yet. And
it's a tutorial, basically. Yeah.
When you get to that second, oh, man, I was like, okay, now I know. Oh, yeah, this is going to be great, which I hope I'll be doing this for Solo Sunday. If I can get the publisher to do it, I may play 1 and 2 so that you can see how much it opens up. So if I can get that to open up and show it to you, it's going to be a little spoilery, but, like, I promise you.
So much fun.
Like, there's so much fun.
You haven't played 3 yet, have you?
So I haven't played 3.
Man, 3. But if the 4 is as cool as, like, the jump from 2 to 3, like, then this game is going to be remembered forever. Like, it's
the difficulty definitely ramps up in that third one, which I think was good because we kind of breezed through the first one, especially because it's such an
tutorial,
entry level. But the third one was really challenging, and they actually made, by the time we filmed our preview, we had already played all 3 of them, and they changed the rule that we specifically found to be, we could kind of abuse the system to be able to refresh our tokens in a way, and they introduced a new mechanism of resting that we didn't get to play with. But with that, I imagine it's even going to be even harder, which I totally appreciate. Like, I want a challenging, cooperative style game like that. So, it's good.
How about you, Ryan?
Oh, look at me. I'm bougie. Come on.
You are bougie. You're playing all the prototypes. You're bougie. I mean, like, Alma Mater was the big one, and we've already spoken about that. I'll let Kira talk a little bit more about Alma Mater. Then, of course, the 5 games I just listed are games that I've been playing. I've been still playing a ton of Marvel Champions. David Waybright and I played, I don't know why I said his last name. David and I played Intrepid on the live stream yesterday, which was it's a cooperative game about surviving in a space station. Spoiler alert, we would make awful astronauts. It was bad. And
Do not send them to the space station.
No, that was bad.
It will
and
break apart.
I sat down earlier today to play it again. There's a solo version, or you could play multiple characters. And man, I still got destroyed. So I it's beating me every single time. But I find myself wanting to go back and think, okay, well, I lost because I did this. I can see why I lost, and I can say, next game, I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll win. And I think that's a key thing to have in cooperative games, especially ones that are this challenging, is you can never feel like there was no chance. You need to be able to look back and say, if only X had happened, then I could have won.
2 or 3 decisions. Yeah.
I'm probably going to play Intrepid again. We'll see if I do better this time.
One game before we get back to Kira. Kira, you want to go ahead? Because I want to talk about one more title.
Go for it.
All right. So I'm going to talk about a preview, and that's back there. If you guys can see all that stuff on that table back there, that's for a game called Hybris Disordered Cosmos.
Yeah.
And it is if you like games like Eclipse or Terra Mystica, where you have like super asymmetrical powers right from the start, this may be a game that interests you. And I'm not just saying that because we're doing a sponsored preview, because it genuinely might interest you. There's a lot of stuff going on in that game. It is huge. You're representing one of the Greek gods. Yeah, you're representing one of the Greek gods. Who's trying to gain the throne of Olympus, but also trying to control the mortal world. And there's these 7 massive boards that go around one main board. All of them have worker placement spots. All of them have multiple different actions that you can do on them. And it's got a really neat way that the whole game interacts with different pieces in the game and how you interact with each other. But one of the cooler things is that asymmetry in the game is that each of these Greek gods not only have special powers built in, but they have all these enhancement tiles that, kind of like Terra Mystica, come off in order, flipping them over and allowing you to take new actions in the course of the game. So, I mean, you're going to be making some really weird, rule-breaking strategies in this game with your gods that just kind of like, you're looking at it, you're like, whoa, and then the person next to you does something, you're like, wait, what? You can do that? And then this person does something, like, well, okay, this is ridiculous. And I like that kind of stuff, but that's one you may want to consider. And actually, I'll be filming a preview for that tomorrow, and I think it's going to Kickstarter on Tuesday. And again, I'm not trying to push it. Just decide for yourself if you like it. But if you like those types of games that have really asymmetrical type things, you might want to take a look at that one. So go ahead, Kira.
I'm not going to talk about Alma Mater because you guys talked about it for a while, so I think everybody got a pretty good idea of it. I just will say I liked it. So what?
Talk about Cosmic Encounter. The craziness of Cosmic Encounter Duel that we played.
Sure. I was going to talk about a different game. Cosmic Encounter Duel. I've never played Cosmic Encounter. I played Cosmic Encounter Duel. It's a bizarre game. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's... I didn't really know. I don't know that I even have an opinion yet. I probably need to play it again. It was a very strange game. But it's a duel. It's interesting, and you've got to bet chips and lose. So the game I wanted to talk about is one that Ryan and I played on the live stream, and then Jeremy and I played it again with Julie from Greenbrier Games. Was Tales of Barbaria. Gosh, I just want to bring it up mostly because I really like it. It's an awesome game. It's really well done, which no one should be surprised coming from a designer like Julie and Greenbrier. But the fact is I don't know why, but it's not funded on Kickstarter. Everybody go look at this game. It is so unbelievably awesome, and it's cute
It's
and
criminal. It's
stabby.
not. I don't know why it's not. I actually don't know why it's not.
Well,
Like, this is
Kickstarter's been
exactly-
weird right now.
It is
No,
weird right
seriously.
now, and it's one of those games you
People are making
absolutely should
money.
check out.
People are making money. This game should have crossed the line. Like, we have a calendar that's funded right now. Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
that is a cool looking
It's a
calendar.
super
though.
cool
Cool
calendar. Don't
But-
discount that
I just
calendar
said-
by saying that.
Shout
But
out to
like,
Katya. I'm just saying, like, shout out to Katya.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, I just feel like this game should be on your shelf if you're at a game store, and it should be at your house. If you just want to play around, poke at your family, you guys are playing against each other, it's such a good game. It could be a beer and pretzel game to you, but it also could just be straight up family fun. And
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's just a fun game. That's a good, simple, fun game. But it's actually a little bit more thinky. Jeremy would say that. It's more thinky than you think. So,
oh, and if you go back and watch our live stream from the other night, it was really, I should have just named it Jeremy versus Jeremy. Because they
Yeah.
were.
hey, Julie feels so bad for me because she beat us up so bad. She's sending me cookies.
Oh, look at
Because
that.
I said, if you beat me this bad, you got to send me peanut butter cookies. She's sending me peanut butter cookies. So,
Wait, you beat me up, so do I get cookies from you?
no, absolutely not, sir.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I do have to say thank you to Jeremy for giving me this awesome helmet.
Yes.
This is a
that's
wonderful
super
gift.
cool.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
the only other thing is I'll bring up and I'll be done is I got my smartphone ink pledge today. It showed up,
Oh,
and it is.
Woo!
I actually have to grab it because it's so massive.
Put your back into it.
I've played this
put
game.
your back into it.
I've played it. Look at this. Look how.
Oh.
Oh,
That's bigger than I thought.
This is me.
wow. More meat. Wow. 35% more game.
This is like
That is a huge
9
box.
pounds of game here, and
Yeah.
I was shocked because I've played it. I've held the box before, and I know this has an expansion in it. All right, I guess we're done. So I'll be done talking about smartphone ink.
You
But
know
anyway,
what?
I'm
You know
looking
what?
forward to breaking
You
it
know
out
what?
and getting it to the table because I always had to play somebody else's copy. My friend Andrew had it. That he picked up at BGG Con one year. It was one that Jeremy wanted. I put back. It was the last one. He got it. It was great. And I really like the game, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the expansion does for it. So that might be hitting my table this weekend. All right, Jeremy, what else? Anything?
All right. I don't know. I think that's all for tonight. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was
Thank you,
fun.
guys.
Hey, by the way, check out Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. It's by my friend Stan Kordansky. It's absolutely amazing. Really interesting dice game, worker placement game. He's always great with dice. Dice Hospital, Rurik of Kiev. There's an expansion for Rurik of Kiev coming to Kickstarter soon. I always promote his games because they're awesome games. They don't stink, which is great. He's got another coming soon, and we don't care because we got our hats on. This is off the rails. Let's
It is absolutely.
All right,
All right.
Jeremy, take us out.
All right. So, everyone, thank you for watching episode 66 of Chit Chat. Let us know in the comments below what your games that you're playing right now with your friends, family, spouse, partner, whomever that you're stuck with. Again, always be safe. Wear a mask. It's just smart. Don't expose other people.
Please.
And yeah, that's
And
it.
just be
Be
kind
safe,
to
guys.
each other, folks. Let's just be kind to
Be
each other.
kind.
Can we all be
nice to
kind?
everybody.
Let's do that. All
Yeah.
right.
Let's try our
Well.
best.
All right.
Well.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.